Okay, a lot of people doing compliments videos. Yeah, I have to caveat this and say that I wrote this, and so you might find me reading some of this script. So I wrote this, so maybe last year. Okay. Stats. I love stats, and I'm going to talk about stats. Hello, everybody. I'm Rafi. Hello, welcome to my channel. As you can see, the channel is also my name. My name is my channel because it's all about me. And usually I talk about fragrances because I'm a big fragrance nerd, but I'm also into a lot of other things. And I want to talk to you about some of these other things, but I also want to tie it in with fragrances as well, if that makes sense. And again, the title of the video is a little bit of a clickbaity sort of thing. I promise it's going to be worth your while. You're starving for compliments. This is why you don't get them. Okay, so according to my YouTube analytics, and I had a look at that, 93% of my viewers are men. Hello, men, 93% of you. And according to stats websites, the general consensus is that 56% of the entire total YouTube viewership is also men. So that's pretty even. So there's not much surprise there, but you know, I mean, I guess there's not much surprise in the fact that the overwhelming majority of my viewers are men as well. And you're all between like, I think 25 and like 45 years old or something like that. Unless you're lying to YouTube, unless you're lying to Google, which I don't think you can because they know everything. They know everything. To my usual subscribers, you guys are probably expecting like a top 10 compliment getting list video or something like that. I don't know why you'd be expecting that because I've never done one of those before. And because mostly on my channel, for the people who don't know, I talk about fragrances, and I think I mentioned that again, but I'm going to do that again, but in my way. So I want to give you some more stats right now. And that is that women, the 7% of you who do subscribe to this channel and watch my videos, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that we can see who else is actually watching. That'd be nice. But women receive, okay, let's talk about compliments and compliment statistics. There's actually compliment statistics, and I don't think I've seen any YouTube sort of fragrance reviewer actually ever talk about statistics when it comes to compliments. They just talk about the airy-fairy shit, and then they talk about like all of the, this will give you wear this, you'll get compliments for this. Shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Women receive 74% of all compliments. Men receive 26%. So already you can see that women receive 3 times more compliments than men do. But women give 68% of compliments and men give 32% of compliments. So that's a little bit more even, but still the receiving and the giving of compliments is being done majorly by women, overwhelmingly by women. So both men and women give 3 times more compliments to women than they do to men. So for every 4 compliments that are uttered into existence, 3 of them go to women. Another thing to note is that women will give other women compliments and they don't mean it. Like they'll be like, oh my God, I love what you've done with your hair. That's my best woman impersonation. This is probably why there's only 7% of you who are watching. Or, you know, like, have you lost weight? You look fantastic, something like that. They'll give compliments a lot, but they won't mean it. Just the same way that guys, on the other hand, guys will actually make fun of each other. They'll poke fun at each other, and they also don't mean it. Like, you know, you dickhead, like this. And you razzle them up, you roast your friends all the time, and you don't mean it. So if a woman or a man complimented a man, it's special because it's once in a blue moon and it's probably a real compliment. And the more I thought about this, the more I realized why people, especially men, want compliments and why these top 10 compliments videos do so well for other channels who do them, because I don't do them. My theory is that men and women are complimenting other women, and men in comparison are not getting a fair share. And men are being starved of compliments. When was the last time you complimented another dude? See, we want compliment equality. Now, I'd go deeper into this to say that there's a small minority of men who are getting the lion's share of compliments, just like they do on the dating apps, as there's stats on the dating apps that show that, 10% of the guys are getting 90% of all of the DMs, all of the swiping of the direction that means that you're a good one. I don't do them. I don't need them. And I have no idea how they work. But I know the stats. And the stats show that there's a small minority of men who are getting all the action. And then the overwhelming majority of men are getting no play at all. And I believe that compliments would work exactly the same way, in that there's a small minority of men. And I might put like what I think a picture of these types of men would look like, where they'd be like great model looking men, young, fit sort of guys, or dudes that are actually, severely wealthy or famous or something like that. They'd be getting the lion's share of compliments from a very small pool of compliments to begin with. Remember, men are only getting like a quarter of the compliments that women are. And the small minority of men are taking that little sliver all to themselves, which basically means that most men are rarely ever getting complimented, if at all. Men are therefore desperate for compliments. Now, I'm sure it would be easy for your ego to deny this and say that I don't need compliments, I'm not a simp, which screams to me to say that you really, really want an emotional connection with someone. And while I wouldn't be surprised to think that many of you who are watching would actually think this way, but you would really be engaging in some cognitive gymnastics to convince yourself to think, oh, I don't need compliments. I don't really need compliments. But you do need compliments. It's nice to be complimented. It feels good. Why wouldn't you want this? Is it because you have low self-esteem, which leads you to protect your ego, and the way that you protect your ego is to apply a blanket policy of rejection, and that way you protect yourself by rejecting the thing that may reject you? Just a theory. You're starving for compliments, bro. You are. But getting compliments from your fragrances ain't gonna feed your hunger. And I've said this in previous videos, compliments on your fragrances are vapid. That's the proper word to describe it. They have no substance. Getting a compliment on my fragrance, which I have had occasionally, I treat these like compliments of the fragrance itself. I'm not being complimented here. It's the smell of the chemicals I just sprayed on my skin. That's what's getting complimented. When someone says, wow, you smell nice. Wow. It's because they like the smell of your fragrance. Simple, isn't it? But on the flip side, if someone doesn't like the smell of your fragrance, they're less likely to tell you. Like someone's not going to walk up to you and say, did you rub dog shit on your neck because you stink? Especially if it's a woman, they're not going to tell you that. Okay, maybe if it's your wife, but that's different. What I'm trying to say is being complimented on your fragrance is not a compliment for you. It's a compliment on the fragrance itself. Okay, I mean, maybe it's a compliment on your ability to use your index finger and your spatial awareness to be able to spray fragrance on yourself. But I'd hardly call that an achievement to be proud of. Not when you compare it against something like when someone says, hey, I really like how you keep your cool and think really clearly in times of high stress situations. Or something like, hey man, I read your Substack article and yeah, dude, it really resonated with all the troubles that I've been going through in my life. You don't know how much those words meant to me, man. Really, thank you. And my favorite compliment of all time, which came from my wife actually, and she said to me, I wish my dad was more like you. Yeah. That gets me in the feels every time. I remember it because at the time I was feeling like I had no clue of what I was doing. And I was trying my best to support my family whilst working on like a minimum wage job and being supported by government benefits. And I wasn't really feeling good about myself. And in that time, those words meant a lot. It made all the difference to me. And that's exactly it. You want compliments? So does that other dude. Why don't you start by giving one? And not fake vapid ones either, like compliments that are warranted. And you might be terrible at it to start off with because it's something that you haven't done very much, if at all. But as you do it more often, you'll get better at it. And if you really want compliments, you should do the things and be the person that warrants them.